Hey guys, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to discuss the index function. So the index function, what it does is that it returns a value or the reference to a value from within a table or range. So what that means in simple words is that you give it a range of cells, okay, and that range could be a table, for example, and then normally you give it what row you would like to go to, okay, and what column as well of that range you would like to go to, okay, and then the intersection of that row and column is going to be a cell, and this is where you're going to extract your information from. So let's have an example for that. Okay, so the most basic use for an index function when we write equals index, we're actually going to have two options to fill the arguments for the index function. We're going to actually focus on the first option here, okay, which is by filling the array and the row number and the column number. So if we write equals index and then we get asked for an array is basically a range of cells, so we can select this table here that we've got as our range of cells, okay, and then we're going to be asked for a row number. Okay, so let's say we want to look up the value for the sales for trucks in company number 2. Okay, so in order to get the value for sales for trucks in company number 2 using the index function, okay, we need to go actually to the third row in that range. Okay, so we're going to type 3 here as the row number, and then for the column number, we need to also go to the third column because the sales for trucks are in the third column. So we're going to put a 3 in here. Okay, so if you supply that range and we put a 3 and for the row number and 3 for the column number, we press enter, we actually get the sales for trucks in company number 2, as you can see here. So it's essentially, for most basic use for the index function, you essentially supply it with a canvas, okay, and then you supply the coordinates for the cell that you want to go to, which you get using the row num and the column number. Okay, so the coordinates are basically the intersection for the row number and the column number in that range or table. Okay, so let's also see how index can be used for lookups. Okay, so let's see how we can use the index function as a lookup function. So you can use the index function as a lookup function if you combine it with the match function. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So let's say we want to look up the value for sales for cars and trucks in company number 2. Okay, so I'm going to start with the cars part here. So I'm going to write equals index, and then it's going to ask us for the array. For the array, we're going to supply it with our table here. And then for the row number, okay, so the row number argument, we want it to select the correct row number, okay, which should be the row for company number 2, and we're going to use the match function for that purpose. So we're going to match actually company number 2, and I'm going to absolute the column for that because I want to drag the formula to the right. Okay, so I'm going to match company number 2 in my list of companies. Okay, so I'm going to match company number 2 in my list of companies. I'm going to do it an exact match, okay? And in order to go to the column for the sales for cars, okay, I'm going to match cars, okay? And I can either leave it as not absolute, or I can absolute just the row. Both will work in this case, okay? So I'm going to match cars in title columns here for in the horizontal title columns for the different vehicles, okay, and then I'm gonna do an exact match as well. Okay, so I'm gonna close my brackets here and press enter, and as you can see here, we've got the sales for cars in company number 2. Okay, if we direct the formula to the right, we get the sales for trucks in company number 2 as well, okay, as you can see here. And also I want to show you something else, which is that if we switch actually the column titles here, so if we make this trucks and we make this cars, you can see here that we still get the correct values. So we get the correct value for sales for cars in company number 2, and we get the correct value for sales for trucks in company number 2. And the reason for that is that because the two match functions that are nested inside the index function, they take care of locating the correct rows and columns for the lookup to be done, okay, each time. And this is why this is a dynamic lookup. It is dynamic in both rows and columns, okay? So even if you switch the columns here, it's still gonna get you the correct results, even if you switch the rows. So if you make this company 23, for example, and make company 7 to be company 2, you are still gonna get the correct values. You can see here, sales for cars in company number 2 are 347,000 and trucks 848,000. You're still getting the correct results. I'm just gonna press Control and Z to put everything back to what it was. Okay, so that's for using the index function for lookups. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video.